Parterre de Facets, also known as the Greyhound of the Sea.
Greyhound me arse! It's a fucking whale, Johnny.
Just a whale, the finback, the fastest mammal in the ocean deep.
And the smelliest. Stinks like a badger scutters all those.
You'd stink too if you were laying dead on the strand this last 14 days. Petrescence, Denny, the way of all flesh.
How your man stands it, I'll never know.
Who's that?
Jack the Ripper blowing the beach.
Jack the Ripper's getting well paid for his services. 30 years in the slaughterhouse has left its mark. A skunk could run up one nostril and down the other, and that guy wouldn't smell a thing.
Well, lucky him. It's an awful stink, Johnny.
Okay, I get the message. Damn weather doesn't help. I spend the whole summer praying for a fine day, and just when you don't need it, along comes a heat wave.
Never mind the heat wave. Along comes the Cemetery Sunday horse race to blow on the beach tomorrow. Only there's 60 foot of rotten rubber stood bang slap in the middle of the course. Talk about fucking timing.
Jeez, you're worse than the county council. I got this with my porridges. Dear Mr. Kinnett, with reference to the deceased mammal recently deposited on the beach at Seafield, and for which I understand you have acquired the salvage and disposal rights, I am instructed to inform you that removal and safe disposal of the carcass must be completed no later than Saturday, June 18th at 5 p.m. Failure to honor this deadline will result in commencement of legal proceedings with immediate effect. I remain yours sincerely, Mr. Thomas J. Flynn, Department of Bluff and Bluster.
But June 18th is today, Johnny.
I'm painfully aware of that fact, thank you very much. An epistle inspired, no doubt, by the clerk of the course for tomorrow's races. I would have thought Mr. Cassidy had had more on his mind this morning.
You seen the fire at the parochial ball then?
Too hard to miss it.
Feckin' shinners.
What?
Shinners? Republicans. You couldn't be up to them, lot.
You couldn't indeed.
That's the blue shirt dance scuppered for tomorrow night, so.
Purpose of the exercise, I presume. But it's no concern of ours. I was down at the beach earlier, and I'm pleased to report that, stink or no stink, the butcher of Ballybricken's labour has not been in vain. 70 tons of whale meat off to the neck is yard by midday, and one almost pristine skeleton ready to be lifted at low tide.
You're going ahead with it then?
Oh, most certainly, yeah.
Oh, you're feckin' mad, Johnny.
You think so?
I do. And I'm not the only one. You're laughing stock the whole feckin' village.
The price of genius, Denny. You see how it falls. And at least Grace Conley has more faith in me than her son.
How do you mean?
Can I tell you?
Tell me what?
I've commandeered your mom's tractor and trailer for the lift tomorrow. She'll be here any minute now.
Oh, sweet Jesus in heaven. Bad enough my mother's the only out one in the county water for driving a tractor. We're not hauling a feckin' rotten whale through Main Street in broad daylight. I declare to God, that woman will be the death to me.
If it's any consolation, she says just the same about you. Right, we're all set. Get that on.
What for?
How long have you been hanging around this place, Denny?
Too feckin' long.
Ever since you was a kid, right? I'm not a wet day back from New York and your mom walks in here looking for something I probably don't even have. And who she got with her? Only this snotty-nosed little kid, eyeing up the sweets on. So small I can hardly see him over the counter. What have we got here, I said. Who is this guy? And your mom said, this is Dennis.
Denny! My name is Denny.
Dennis, Denny, the point is a quarter of pear drops later and he's anybody's. You've been hanging your cap here ever since. So, as long as I've known you, you've been badgering me about putting on that apron and serving behind that bar. But today's your big day. I got to oversee operations down at the beach, and I'm leaving you in charge here.
I'm sorry, Johnny. It's no can do.
What do you mean it's no can do?
Well, I've other plans.
You're 16, you can't have other plans.
They're marking the course for the horse races tomorrow. Mr. Cassidy has a posse of men lined up, and well, yours truly is one of them.
Is that so?
It is. I asked Teddy Riley could I give a hand, and he asked Mr. Cassidy, and Mr. Cassidy said I could.
A signal on it. Only as you rightfully point out, and James Cassidy is patently aware, There's the minor impediment of 70 tons of blubber to be dealt with first.
Mr. Cassidy said there's plenty to be going on and while we're waiting.
What did he do?
He did! There's the starting line and the finishing post. There's the parade ring to be read, and the post to be knocked up for the bookies. And that's just the half of it. Teddy Riley said we're to meet far in the strand for our orders. I'd better be getting down there now.
Hey, Denny, hang on a second, will you?
You have to meet at low tide. I don't want to be late.
You can't do this to me. I got men on the beach too. I got 70 tons of blubber to be loaded on the Nectar's yard truck. I gotta figure out how to lift a 60-foot whaler on your mom's 10-foot trailer. And that's all before the tide comes in again. I gotta be down there to do that.
Don't open the shop, soul!
I can't do that. I got customers to look at.
The dock, you mean?
The dock for one. It's 10:28, and in 3 minutes' time, he's going to be sailing through that door.
And 15 minutes later, he'll be sailing back out again. Can't you just leave him the keys and tell him to lock up when he's finished?
Perish the dock. The dock is my best customer.
He's your only customer! There is, damn it.
You've been going around with your eyes closed, didn't you? You not see the crowds been coming through this village ever since old Walter the whale landed? Hundreds of sightseers trailing in from all over these past 2 weekends.
So I didn't see too many of them in here.
I got 1 or 2. And you're forgetting what day we have. Tomorrow's Cemetery Sunday, right? Which means today is holiday time. For the homeward bounders, Dinny, they're going to be pouring in off the Waterford bus within the hour.
And heading straight for Lawler's, the far end of the Strand. The same as they do every year.
Maybe not this year. Listen to me, Dinny. For as long as I've known you, have I ever asked you for it? Yeah, that's right. Not so much as a visit. I think I can say I've been a good buddy to you. But today, the shoe, as they say, is on the other foot. So, I need your help then. So now you got a choice to make.
Some feckin' choice.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
You haven't let Mr. Cassidy down.
I'm sure he'll survive without you. There you go, Mr. Bartender. You know where everything is. Bottles on the shelf, spirits on the counter, price list on the wall. Cash drawer waiting to be filled.
You better not be long, Johnny.
Don't worry, I ain't paying those guys by the hour. I won't be hanging around any longer than I need to. We got 4 hours before the tide comes in again.
4 hours! I'm dying boring, so I will.
How long old Wally's last journey takes is another minute. I guess we're going to have to cut the skeleton to fit on your mom's trailer, which means a few trips, I'm afraid.
How many?
6, at least.
Sacred Heart of Jesus, I'm destroyed. Couldn't you at least wait until it gets dark, Johnny?
5 o'clock deadline, remember? Not to mention the Right Honourable James Cassidy breathing down my neck.
Where are you bringing it anyway?
I got a shed a mile down the coast. It needs work, but I got hands and I got plans.
The old dance hall, you mean?
Yeah, my dad's old place. Canan's Celebrated Ballroom of Delights. Fancy name for a glorified cowshed, but it had its moments.
Does my man, well, that's where you're headed?
Yeah, she does, and she's okay with it. Hey, Dick, maybe you and me could take a trip out there after Cemetery Mass tomorrow. I could show you what I got in mind for Walter.
I'm going to the races on the Strand tomorrow.
Of course, how could I forget? Morning, Doc. Not that you seem to have noticed, but it looks like we got ourselves another beautiful day.
I'll take the word for it. Might permit ask what you're up to.
Oh, quickly they forget. Today's the big day, Doc. The raising of Walter the Whale. I gotta take care of things down at the beach, but your beloved grandson here will tend to your every need. Brandy and port for the Doc, Denny. Easy on the port.
Congratulations, Denny.
Thanks a lot.
What news from the front? Any notifiable diseases I should be told about?
No, but it's early yet. Oliver D's goat is acting up again. Carolyn there's in with a dose of worms. Even by the flames is rickets. Eddie Dunphy is having trouble with his waterworks. And to her perennial astonishment, Alice Dunbar is pregnant again. Number 9, I believe. So, like Alice, I suspect I've stopped counting.
Well, John, Frank hasn't stopped counting.
That's so.
It is. They say he has 50 pounds with Tommy Lawler. He'll breed a dozen before he's done.
But something tells me he'll be collecting. What else? Oh, yes. A certain party, as they say, presents it to my Lord this morning with a request for a private consultation. And in connection with the scorch marks on his hands and face and the unfortunate arson attack on his parochial hall last night is, we must presume, entirely circumstantial.
Feckin' shinners. You should have turned him in, though.
Think so?
I do.
Any news on Joe McKenna, Doc?
I called by the house on the way over. He's at the crossing gates. Just having a little trouble getting over the lane. I don't know how to die, Doc, he said.
Say to that.
I told him he was getting the hang of it.
You remember Joe, did he?
I don't think so.
Lives with his sister at the foot of the mountain. He'd drink this place dry in his head. Once a month, regular as time, he'd come down from the hills on that big black bike, fill his belly full of whiskey, and fall back to the home place, take a shotgun to the night sky, and shout obscenities at the stars.
Feckin' Ramadan.
Next day he'd be into me to straighten him out. I give him a shot of something to put the nerve ends back inside his skin, and away he'd go again the next night. One morning, I noticed the tears raining down his face. "What's biting you, Joe?" I said. "The lonely road, Doc," he said. "Poor bastard thinks he don't know how to die, Johnny. So if you ask me, it's living he never got to hang it."
To the nuthouse beyond in Waterford, I'd have sent him. I swear, though, at half each just going the roads of this place is a wonder to God. It's too soft you are in the likes of them.
I bear that in mind.
As you've probably gathered, Doc, your grandson has developed a low threshold for those who march to the wayward step. These days he counts me among their number.
He made up a pint there.
You think so? Hey, you wait and see, Doc. I got plans.
You told me about your plans.
Yeah, but not just for water. I've been thinking, see?
I don't like it when you start thinking.
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
No, seriously, though.
You have my undivided attention.
Johnny Cahan might be a fool. He ain't drooling just yet. I know water's a 9-day wonder, and I know a skeleton is a poor excuse for the real thing. But water's whale park is just the beginning. I've been thinking about Coney Island, see?
Coney Island?
Coney Island, New York City, spring 1910. Rose and Ava and me finally got our own place. 405 Prospect Avenue, Brooklyn. Wasn't much to write home about, but it was ours, and we were as happy as could be. That summer, Ava had her fourth birthday, and to celebrate, we took the railroad out to Dreamland on Coney Island. It was the last day of the season. All attractions, half price. And we had such a day. You would have loved it, didn't you? There was Ferris wheels and roller coasters and carousels. There was Captain Bonavita's Wild Animal Arena and an aquarium with every fish ever known to man. There was a railroad through the Swiss Alps, Venetian canals, and gondolas. And I kid you not, Denny, but a Lilliputian village with 300 live dwarfs. Ava was so happy that day, I swear she thought she died and gone to heaven. All winter long, she never quit talking about going back. Just like it always does, the summer rolled around again. I checked the papers, and there it was. Dreamland, grand reopen, May 27, 1911. Ava hardly slept a wink the night before. To tell the truth, I was kind of restless myself. 1:30 in the morning, I started to smell smoke. I said to Rose, "You smell something?" "Go back to sleep, Johnny," she said. But I didn't. I got up and I went to the window. And from way down on the shore, I could see the flames filling the night sky. I went in and I checked on Ava. When I saw she was awake too, I took her in my arms and I carried her down onto the street. By the time we got there, every fire tender in Brooklyn was rushing past our door. And somebody said, "It's Dreamland. Dreamland's gone." Well, you can imagine, Doc. Ava was pretty sore about that. I told her it didn't matter, and the first thing in the morning we'd go to one of the other parks on Coney and have ourselves a wonderful day. It wouldn't be the same, she said. Whatever way she looked at me and whatever way she said those words, I got a bad feeling that night. Sort of premonition, you know. Like I said, Doc, raising water from the dead is just a start. I got myself a plan. It may take a while to see it through, but I'm going to build myself another dream. Right here in Seafield.
I wish you luck, Johnny. Expecting to need it.
But Grace, you're bang on cue. I was just giving the boys here an exclusive preview of the future recording of Johnny Canal.
If that bag of bones below on the beach has anything to do with it, you better be getting down there. It's low water and that tide is not waiting.
I'm right with you, Cat. You got everything we need?
Everything bar sense.
It's not too late to change your mind, man.
Have you better your bartender, Grace?
He looks familiar right enough. But I see so little of him these days, it's hard to be sure. Easier pull the back teeth from a bad dog to try to get that fella out of the bed for school. But the first day of the summer holidays, he's up and off at first light. The same every day these 3 weeks past.
The early bird is the same.
If he was as quick to give a hand in the garage below, I'd appreciate it more. And try asking where he gets to. You'd stand a better chance of dragging the secrets of Fatima out of the Pope beyond in the Vatican. And was I right, Dennis?
My name is Dinny.
You'll always be Dennis to me. Well, you're right, Johnny, that fish won't live itself.
I'll be right with you. But first, I got a little surprise for you.
Be quick about it, so. How's the grand stock?
She's fair enough. This wouldn't be her favourite weekend, cemetery stuff. You know the story.
I do. Tell her I said hello, won't you?
Why don't you call her something? She's not spied for company.
I will.
Oh, my pigs will fly over the pink rock. They're always saying that, man, but they never do.
There you go, Grace.
In the name of Jesus, what am I supposed to do with this?
What do you think? It's a gas mask.
I know what it is, Johnny. We're not going to frickin' war.
I know that, but old Walter ain't smelling too good. I picked them up in a junk shop in Waterford last week. I figured they'd come in handy.
I'll put up with the stick if it's all the same to you.
No, I think you should put it on you, man. And maybe leave it on you. Wait till the grace of God no one know who you are.
Stitch your lip, you.
Go on, try it on for size at least.
Go on, man.
One of these days, Johnny Canan. One of these days, I'll be done for you.
No, you won't. You miss me too much.
How do we look?
Beautiful as ever.
Did you dance, Mom?
No, I don't know.
Oh, my God. Dreamless night, full and gay,
Good morning.
It most certainly is.
It most certainly is. We were here will look after you.
I'm not looking for a drink.
No? If you don't mind me saying so, you sure look like you could use them.
I apologize for my appearance. My daughter and I have been traveling for more than a week.
The apology is all mine. Come in and pull up a pew. The name's Johnny. Johnny Kinane.
My name is Stefan Henschel.
Oh, and this is Grace. And Grace's father-in-law, Doc Conlon.
Pleased to meet you.
Oh, and her son, Dennis.
Danny.
Denny. You've been traveling far, Stefan?
By boat from Hamburg to Cork. Before that, from Berlin.
Berlin, eh? You've got pretty good English for a foreigner.
Thank you. My mother was English. She had very little German, so I was raised in both languages.
Good for you. You've been having some interesting times over there.
That's one way of putting it.
I've been reading all about this Hitler guy. You come across him at all?
Not in person, no.
Ants in his pants, that guy. Sort of guy who ever took his sweets in the schoolyard has a lot to answer for. Sure hope you people can deal with him before he gets out of control.
I suspect it may be too late for that.
Too bad if it is. Is there something we can do for you, Stefan?
My truck broke down 3 or 4 miles out the road. I need to find a what do you say?
Mechanic.
Yes, thank you. I called to the garage down the street just now, but it was closed.
That's Grace's place. She may not have any letters after her name to say so, but if there's anyone in this county knows more about machinery, I'll eat my gas mask.
Pay no heed to him. Me father had the garage before me. I was too cheap to do anything else is all.
Can you help me?
I'll have a look at it, sir.
Only he'll have to get in the queue. Me and Grace have an urgent appointment with a whale.
I beg your pardon.
It's a long story.
It's not that long. His name is Walter. He landed on the beach below a feckin' fortnight ago and you can smell him in Dungarvan. Johnny gave £20 to Patsy Ray for the salvage and as much again to Jack the feckin' Ripper to skin the feckin' blubber, which thanks to be God is on its way to the knacker's yard in Waterford. The mother here is going to parade up and down the village with the skeleton on the back of her tractor because Johnny has the mad feckin' notion to open a feckin' fairground called Dreamland. And between the tide, the letter from the council, and the market and the course for the Cemetery Sunday race as well. Well, he's an awful feckin' pickle altogether.
Yes, I think that just about covers it, didn't it? We've been just gone for a few hours. I'm sure Grace will come out to you as soon as we're done.
I left my daughter with the truck. I can't wait that long.
I'm sorry, but it's the best we can do.
How far out are you?
3 or 4 miles. The Waterford Road.
I scoot out with the tractor now, Johnny. I won't be long.
We don't have long. You said it yourself. That tide ain't waiting for anyone.
All right, we'll split the difference so. We'll cut the bloody skeleton and lift the sections beyond the tide line. I'll run out in the truck while you give your men a break, and then we can do the trips to the hall at her leisure when I get back.
Dad! Or leave the fecker float.
What do you reckon?
Okay, but don't let me down, Grace.
Have I ever?
How's the man?
The man is fine. How are you today?
Could be better, Johnny. Hello, Grace.
I'll see you below, Johnny.
I'll be right with you.
I'll get out to you as soon as I can.
Thank you.
My car's parked just down the street. I'll take you back to your truck.
That's very kind of you.
Extending the hand of friendship to our visitors, Johnny.
Something like that.
Good man. That must have been his truck he passed on the way in Teddy. Stopped to see if he could help. Looks like he got there before us.
Just passing through, is he, Johnny?
I didn't ask.
You look at us in the back of that truck. He's not planning on going home anytime soon.
Is that so?
It is. Gamey looking young one sitting up in the cab too, didn't he?
If you boys want to drink, Denny here will look after you.
You're like the man's going fishing, Johnny.
You know where I'm going.
We do. And I want you to know I appreciate it.
I ain't doing this for you, James. I got the letter that you arranged from the council. The beach will be cleared by 5 o'clock.
If there's anything I can do to help,
Thanks, but I'm all set.
that's more than I can say, Johnny.
We've all got our problems.
As it happens, that's why I'm here. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Couple of half ones, Denny. Give the boss whatever he's drinking.
The boss is good, thanks. And you've just wasted 10 seconds.
I get to the point, so.
It wouldn't be a bad idea.
No doubt you heard about the fire in the parish hall last night. And being the bright man you are, you know who was behind it.
I can guess.
As you can imagine, Father Mac is quite upset about it. He put a lot of work into that hall over the years, and now it's all gone up in flames.
I dare say Father Mac's not the only one who's upset.
You'll have seen the posters for the dance then.
The Michael Collins Blue Shirt Band, if I recall.
That's them. I have 200 tickets sold for that dance tomorrow night, and I'm not planning on giving anyone their money back.
That wouldn't be like it.
It's got nothing to do with money, Johnny. And it's more than just a dance. A man breathes the kind of air you do. May not have noticed, but there's local elections in this country next year.
I don't live in an ivory tower. First step in your father's comeback, right? 2 years in the wilderness. He finally gets to put the gloves back on. First round of seat on the council. Next stop back in Leinster House.
That's the plan.
I hope it stays fine for him.
We aim to see it does, Johnny. There's a rally in the square in Dungarvan tomorrow night. The last big round-up before the elections.
I hear General O'Duffy is going to descend from the skies on a chariot with 6 white horses.
Not quite. But he will be there. And as district director of the League of Youth, it'll be my job he takes the platform and gets to speak.
The unit Captain Teddy Riley bringing up the rear in his blue shirt, no doubt.
Sneer if you like, Johnny. But I'll be proud to wear that shirt. Proud to protect General O'Duffy.
I'm sure you won't be found one.
The General has kindly agreed to join us afterwards to dance. I gather he's not quick at toes, but he won't need to be. He'll just need to show up. Like you said, Johnny, my father's been in the backwoods, but he's well got in Dublin. And be seen with the General on his home patch will do a lot for his chances next week. Courtesy of our local Republican roughnecks. All I'm short of is a venue. I was hoping you might be able to help me with that.
Sure, I'll push back the tables and the band can play on the counter.
I wasn't talking about here, I was thinking about your dad's old place.
That hall has been closed for nearly 10 years. You know that and you know why.
That was then, and this is now. Give or take a few cobwebs, my guess is there's not a few of our lads couldn't put manners on before the night is out.
We'll never know.
Just one night, Johnny. I'll pay well for the privilege.
I don't need your money.
I need your help.
I don't have it to give.
All I'm looking for is a loan of the hall. Sounds to me like you have a problem who's asking for it.
Well, let's just say I'm not crazy about your dress code. If you boys want to show your blue shirts and your berets off to the girls tomorrow night, that's fine by me. But not on my property.
I don't wear that shirt for show, Johnny. We live in troubled times. That shirt gives people like my father the right to say what they believe in.
Your father's a decent man. I don't have any argument with him. But maybe he should be more careful about the company he keeps.
That's a matter of opinion.
Sure. And your 2 minutes is up.
Word in the villages you're planning to put the skeleton on show in the hall.
That's right, I am.
I like a man with vision, Johnny. It'll take a few bob to see who's true though. In the shower in it now, the men of no property Republicans have little time for a man with a dream. My father and me might be able to help you with yours.
Like I said, I don't need your money.
Not yet, but there might come a time you will.
I'll see you later, then.
What happened out there that night? There were troubled times too, Johnny, and you weren't here. There was civil war in this country while you were sleeping soundly in your bed in Brooklyn. I wouldn't get trapped in history if I were you. You're getting around today, Amy?
Just stand your name, only Mr. Cassidy. I'll go down and give a hand with the course.
Good man. Be more like him.
Indeed. Are you right, Teddy?
Mr. Cassidy, think any more about the thing I was asking?
What's that?
About the races on the Strand tomorrow? About getting the ride on Strawberry Lass?
Mr. Cassidy has other fish to fry today, Denny.
He has, surely. I'm sorry, Mr. Cassidy.
You're all right, Denny. Teddy tells me you've been a great addition to him out in the yard. I wouldn't want you to think I don't appreciate that.
I wouldn't let you down if you gave me the ride, Mr. Cassidy.
You might be letting her mother down. Not to mention Dr. Connolly. I'm not sure to be too pleased seeing you passing the post in the Cassidy colours.
It's got nothing to do with them. I'm my own man, Mr. Cassidy.
You're your father's son.
I'm not a shinner.
Your father was.
My father is 12 years dead. I'm my own man, Mr. Cassidy.
We'll see about that.
They're out of the last, and as they enter the closing straights of the favourite Golden Mill in the lead, behind him Dylan Asian Egmont with Kelsborough Jack and Parsons well, pulling away from the rest of the field. But Ballycogley is making a late burst. Denny Conley hasn't given up. No sir, not way of making long shot. He's passing Master Orange and Albinox. He's passing Parsons well with Kelsborough Jack. If he goes any faster, he'll be passing Beckett. A fellow with the man. It's still the favourite Golden Miller from Dylan Asian Egmont, but Ballycogley is closing fast. It's Golden Miller and Ballycogley neck and neck as they approach the line, but Ballycogley has gone to take it. Ballycogley fucking last, ridden by the great Denny Conley, is the winner of the 1934 Grand National.
Congratulations, Denny.
Even though, the usual.
Thanks. I could do with a drink after all that excitement.
Just passing the time is all. I do fucking customers all day. One of them, the dummy power. The fecker hasn't opened his mouth since he was speared via dark in Bowl Road. I look a dry boarding in this place so I could.
I saw the caravan passing up the street earlier. You shouldn't be too much longer.
Was the mother wearing her mask?
No, full of you, I'm afraid.
That's me though, first up. I'll have to go around with a paper bag over my head for the rest of the summer.
You get over it.
I will, when my hair's as grey as yours. Will you be wanting your chessboard?
No, I'm just passing through. I promised Joe McKenna's sister I'd call up on the way home.
Fellas be shooting the stars.
Joe's shooting days are over, I'm afraid.
Well, no harm in that. Though if he pulls through, maybe Johnny will give him a start over in Dreamland.
I get the impression you were not holding your breath waiting for opening it.
Are you?
It's a long shot, I suppose. But then, Joe was Ballycogley last, and look what happened for him. No harm in that.
Johnny brought me some pictures from Waterford a while back. They showed the race on Pathé News, and it was Golden Miller won it really.
By 5 lengths, if I remember.
Ballycogley is one of the last race on Strand tomorrow.
That is in James Cassidy's first week.
So?
So how long more before your mother uncovers your little secret?
What secret?
You've been writing out in Cassidy's.
It's not a fucking crime, is it?
No. But what happened to your father in Canaan Sandsfall was,
I don't know anything about that stuff.
you know your father never came home. You know it's Cemetery Sunday tomorrow. Your mother doesn't even have a grave to tend. I thought that would have been enough for getting on with.
I ride out a few horses, Grandad. It's no more than that.
I know. You and me are never going to father. I protect you with the last bone in my body. So if you don't let me stand up, you need to look after your mother the same way. You were all she's got in.
Doctor?
I thought you'd be long gone by now.
I thought so also. I'm looking for Johnny.
You're not the only one.
I'll get back soon. What's the story?
Grace came out as she promised. Unfortunately, there's a piston broken in the engine. Grace has ordered the part from Dublin, but it won't be here until Monday.
Ah, that's too bad.
It might have been worse. We towed the truck back to the garage. It will be safe there.
And have you anywhere to stay?
We met Johnny on the beach area with Grace. He has offered us a room here. We'll get our bags from the truck.
You'll have a drink first. I have to go. But sitting here isn't spy for company today.
Thank you. It's hot out there.
What'll it be, boss?
I have a beer, please, and some orange juice for my daughter.
Squash.
I beg your pardon.
We've no juice. Only squash.
The squash will be fine. Thank you.
Beata, this is my grandson, Dinny. Dinny, this is Beata. Apparently it means the happy one.
People are saying that on her.
Dinny is not a straight.
An admirable trait.
Have you met Walter? Walter the whale? Sticky Winky Walter? Alright, Fecker, does she not speak English?
She's a little, how do you say?
Slow. Is there a want on her?
Shy. The word is shy, Dinny.
Yes, and I think she misses her friends.
I'm sure she gets to see them soon.
Not if Mr. Hitler has anything to do with it. It's not a good time to be a Jew in Germany.
I can imagine.
Until Hitler came to power, Beata attended a state school in Berlin. Under the new laws, I was forced to take her out and send her to the Jewish school. She was not allowed to associate with her Gentile friends. It's difficult to explain that to a child of 15.
Or to anyone else. So, what brings you to Ireland?
Work, I hope. I was a clarinet player with the Staatskapelle, the state opera, in Berlin. And the Nazis came in, all Jews, and members of Jewish origin were dismissed from the orchestra. I was reduced to busking in the Opernplatz, until they passed a law against that too. So here we are.
I'm afraid there's not much call for clarinet players around here.
My wife has relatives in the town of Waterford. Beata will stay there for a time, while I look for work in Dublin.
And here's something.
I'll find something, and then I'll come back for my darling girl.
Did your wife not travel with you?
My wife is dead.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
It was a long time ago. There's just the two of us, but two is plenty.
Indeed. You'll have to excuse me now. Suitably fortified. Patient to call on.
Thank you for the drink, Doc. I hope I can return the compliment.
This is my second home. You'll get your chance. Goodbye for now.
How are you, Doc? What was out there, Dinny? It's dry with the heat on that beach.
I would have been out with you, take. Only that Fecker Johnny is not back yet.
He's a busy man. And your money wasn't dragging either.
Don't talk to me about tomorrow.
I know where it's due now. between the pair of them, and the gang of pirates was with him. They're both their blubber that below on the strand. Still a bit of a pound mind. It'll blow over, I suppose.
It's the course mark for the races.
It is. But there's plenty more to be done yet.
I'll go down the instant the other fella gets back.
Take a raise. Might be more important work you can do here.
How do you mean, Teddy? Is it serving a bond to make a Flanagan on the way to bingo? For big looks things, that'll be the height of it.
I'll explain all. The humour's on me. How's she cutting, boss?
Excuse me?
The name's Hetty. Hetty me name. Ready me nature.
Stefan Hensel.
And that's his young one. Yeah. It means the happy one in German. That's where they're from.
Germany we got. His old friends be at me here at this stage.
How do you mean?
We met on the road abroad this morning. And that's all. Girlie.
She's not for talking, Teddy.
Isn't for talking she was this morning, either. Only perched like the Queen of Sheba above the cab of your truck. Don't be fretting around now, Stephen. Mr. Cassidy only stopped to give you the dig out.
That means a hand, Stefan. A leg up. It means they're on to help is all.
Thank you. You're welcome.
The mother went out to have a look under the bonnet with their banjos on Monday. They have lodgings with Johnny till then.
Is that the way it is now? On your holidays, you are so. Is it, Stephen?
Yes, something like that.
You might see you for the horse racing on the strand tomorrow, then. Or the dance after, maybe. If you had a mind for it.
We'll get our bags then.
Do so. I'll tell Johnny you were in.
Holidays me arse.
What's that, Teddy?
What's that, Teddy? Isn't it the last show Teddy Riley come down? No, sir. The one before it later. Didn't I tell you I had a gander in the back of his old jalopy this morning? And all belonged to the pair that sat under the canopy. That book was here for the long haul, didn't he?
Tis Jews there. On the run from some fella by the name of Hitler.
But they know well 'tis Jews they are. The private audience with General O'Duffy, that ought to be hidden.
Is the humour on you yet, Teddy?
You what are you talking about?
You said you'd explain all when the humour was on you.
I did, and it is. It's about the dancing here.
You just find somewhere.
No, we did not find somewhere. You think I'd be sitting here talking to you, we found somewhere.
Sorry, Teddy.
The boss is getting anxious, and small blame to him. He's not at stake. We're running out of time. He's not too pleased with the yank, I can tell you. That haul out the road will be the answer to our prayers. And the yank playing hardball. Not going down to it.
I don't think he's for turning, Teddy.
Everybody's for turning. Just have to find the right keys on. And you know something, didn't you? I think I'm looking at that key.
Is it me, Teddy?
No! It's the jar of bullseyes on the shelf behind your ear. Is it cross-eyed you think I am?
No, Teddy.
Glad to hear it. Give me all that bottle there for losing patience with you all together. Now, here's the way it is, Denny. For reasons is best known to himself, the Yank has always had a shine for you. Some say 'tis 'cause he holds a candle for your mother. But, whatever the reason, where the Yank is concerned, whatever Dinny Connolly wants, Dinny Connolly gets.
He's a decent man, all right.
Yeah, he's to you anyway. And that set me thinking, it'd be a tickly old feather in your cap to Mr. Cassidy. You could persuade the Yank to do the right thing in the village.
I suppose it would, Teddy. But how?
Stradbally Lask is how.
Stradbally lass?
The one and only. She be on odds for good reason. The right man to settle. You never know. The Yank knows you have the graw for the horses, right? I want you to tell him that you've been offered a ride. But on one condition. That he gives Mr. Cassidy the use of the hall for the blue shirts dance.
But I haven't.
And what?
Been offered the ride.
Lay that to me, Denny. You deliver the keys of that hall. And I'll have you sitting on that filly tomorrow. Sure as shite.
It's no use, Teddy. Johnny won't do it.
Do it for you.
No, he won't. I never told him I was riding out for Mr. Cassidy. Him, nor the mother. Both.
Why is that, Denny?
You know why.
Because you're out, fella, isn't it?
You know it is.
Don't you be troubling yourself over it. Denny.
It isn't me who's trouble. It is the mother. It is the doc. And Johnny.
Like Mr. Cassidy said, what happened out of that dance was a long time ago. You're only a babby as how long ago it
This is
was.
not happening at the dance, Teddy. This is what followed after.
What might that be? What followed after? Denny?
You know well what followed after.
You tell me, Denny.
You were there, Teddy.
Says who? I was there.
You know who.
Your mammy says more than her prayers. Unless you when it suits her. Wherever I was, and wherever I wasn't that night. Whatever the fuck fairy tale your mammy dumped you in the bed with. She knows who kicked her out, fella. And she knows why. Word of advice from a friend, Dinny. Things being the way they are. You being who you are. Mr. Cassidy could have sent you packing the morning he showed up in his yard. Instead, he went to you like his long lost son. The jury's still out, Denny. Pedigree, see? Not Craig. You do well to remember that.
I will, Teddy.
Good man. Much for dancing yourself?
I've never been in a dance in my life. And I've no desire for one either.
A man after your own heart, so. Oh, I stepped out all right. It's often rewarded for it. You receive me, Leitha. But isn't there a roundabout way to get the squeeze all the same? Hopping and flicking, turning to the walls of Limerick. Or the tinker's elbow or some such. Only one thing on your mind, into the night. Between yourselves, Denny, it wasn't to spite the shinners. I just soon was no feckin' dance at all. The rally abroad in Dungarvan now is a different how do you do. Yes, I can't feckin' wait for it, Denny! The boss has organised a posse of us. Meet up at Cairns Cross directly after the race. Up the truck we're going, join the rest of the crew in Abbeyside. The general is coming to motor car from Dublin. You see, the drill is every blue shirt in the county, the farm ranks, and marching the torchlight into the square. It'll be a sight to see, Denny. 50 years' time, there'll be old fellas telling their grandchildren they wore the blue shirt. And I know Duffy came to town. You and Captain Riley here. Be one.
King's Cross, is it?
Directly after the last race. Keep that to yourself, mind. We waylaid with the shinners when we set out it off.
I'd love to go with you, Teddy.
Don't I know when you would? No best for a child, any.
I'm 16. Like, is that the League of fucking Youths call yourselves?
It is. This week, anyway. Where the children have to change the name every time the old Spaniard Dave. That's a ban and honor on us. But, whatever flag we sail under, we're expecting trouble. The men's work tomorrow night.
I wouldn't let you down, Teddy.
Nah, your little peacock's in the right place, and no denying it. You want to be useful. Talk to the Yank. Okay. Rearguard action, Dilly. Wouldn't want to spoil the party. I slip out the back door onto the beach.
I'll be down shortly to give you a hand.
And with news from Mr. Cassidy more important. Strap on the last Dilly. She's all yours, if you deliver.
Oh my boy, that's the pride of the whole Shelburne, the greatest of heroes and fling your beavers aloft and
Give
give
tree ringing cheers
for
John Kelly, the boy from Killan.
He has risen as promised, Denny. The greyhound of the sea has reached his final resting place.
You were long enough, Hal.
And let me endeavour right enough.
And Grace Conley, the hero of the hour.
How we doing, Diddy?
Never better.
To get something to eat.
I did not. I tell you, I was that busy. I hadn't time to run to the pantry.
See, didn't I tell you?
I was joking, Johnny. So much for your homeward bounders. Above and allers there, like I said, they'd be.
All is welcome to him, Denny. Like I said earlier, we've got other plans now. You should have seen the crowds following us every trip on the trail. Isn't that right, Grace?
Don't fucking remind me.
There's big interest in it. The times we live in, people need a little sense of wonder in their lives. And we are going to satisfy them.
Who's waiting, Johnny?
You and me both, kid. Walter's going to have a rest tomorrow. But first thing Monday, I got a crew ready to clean and bleach his bones. After that, we clean out the hall, bring Walter back indoors, and put him back together again.
Like Humpty fucking Dumpty.
You wait and see. A few nuts of bolts, a coil of bull wire, and it'll be just like the day he was born. 2 weeks tops, we open Walter's whale park to an adoring public. And that is where you come.
How's your man?
Now you tell him, Grace.
Johnny wants to run Waters Whale Park for the summer.
What?
That's what I said.
I know it's a lot of responsibility, I grant, but you'll get the hang of it. It'll be long hours, mate. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. minimum 7 days a week. But you'll be so busy, it'll feel like 10 minutes. And needless to say, I pay you good money for your trouble.
Johnny, there's no way.
And that's not the best bit. Like I told Doc today, I got my heart set on bigger things. So every cent of profit made this year goes straight back into the business. We may be a little bit off the Lilliputian villages with 300 to wash. Every year there'll be a new attraction. If this works out, I believe you me it's going. Pretty soon you could find yourself running the biggest amusement park on the island.
Oh, Jesus.
Stefan, the attic. You're just in time for the celebration.
What's the occasion?
Dreamland, that's what. Drinks on the house, Diddy.
No for me, Johnny.
I insist. Port wine for your mother. A large whiskey for me and whatever our visitors are having.
I have to go, Johnny.
Not yet, you don't. Get one for yourself, too.
I promised Teddy Riley I'd give him a hand.
Teddy Riley can wait. What we got here, Stephen? You got a gun in there?
It's a clarinet.
Wonderful. You see this, Grace? Stefan here is a musician. What kind of music you play? You look like a jazz man to me.
Classical, I'm afraid.
You don't say. I tell you what, my salvage crew are coming over later for a few beers. Maybe you come down and play us a tune.
If you like.
I would like, very much. Everyone got their drinks, did he?
Yeah.
Then raise your glasses, folks. You too, Vianney. A toast to Walter the Whale, to our most welcome visitors, to Dreamland. You got a drink, Diddy?
I have to go, Johnny.
But you'll think about my offer, right?
You should think about Mr. Cassidy's.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Mr. Cassidy wants to loan the hall down for the blue shirt dance tomorrow night.
So I hear.
He says he'll pay good money for the privilege.
I think Johnny's made his mind up about
I
that.
wasn't just talking about a few bob for the hire the hall. You heard him, Johnny. Him and his outfit could make Dreamland happen.
You and me are going to make that happen.
With what?
I told you it would. I explained all that.
How long is that going to take?
Is there a clock ticking somewhere I can't hear? As long as it's necessary.
You'll be an old man, Johnny.
No, I'll be my own man. I don't need James Cassidy to feed my dreams.
No. Well, maybe I do.
Doc, the usual?
Your new bartender been fired already?
It's just going off duty.
Seems to be the day for Joe McKenna has finally figured out how to die, Johnny.
Sorry to hear that. You did all you could for him, Doc.
Indeed.
Is the sister okay?
Ah, she's okay. The neighbours were gathering, so I beat a hasty retreat. I thought we'd be out tomorrow night for the wake. Quite should yet. Forgive me for saying so. Looks like when I just walked in on.
It's been a long day, as well. You better be going. I'm sure Teddy Riley will be waiting on you.
He's only just gone.
Twice in the one day. What seldom is bearable.
He was here about the races.
The beach is clear, just like I said it
It was
is.
Natty coming out. It was myself he was looking for.
What did he want of you?
Teddy's Mr. Cassidy's stable manager, man.
I know well what he is. What's that got to do with you, Dilly?
I've been riding out with Cassidy's yard these 3 weeks past, and I wanted to tell you, but I knew you wouldn't let me go.
I wonder why that could be.
It's only for the horses I go out there, man. No more than that.
You have a short memory, Dilly.
I've no memory, now that shit's concerned.
Then let me remind you. James Cassidy has your father's blood on his hands.
You don't know that.
The dogs in the street know it. And his psychic Riley's hands aren't clean either. Those bastards may have not pulled the trigger, but I know they had a hand in your father's death.
Well, if they did it itself, maybe he had it coming to him.
I don't say that, Dilly.
I'll say what pleases me. I never had a father.
That's enough now.
What kind of father was it ran off to fight the British, and his son not 6 months
I
old?
said that's enough!
Calling back the time of the truce, but shags off again to kill his own in the Civil War. I owe nothing to such a man, and you don't either.
I'll decide what I own and what I don't. But this much you'll take my word for. For better or worse, he was my husband. And neither you nor James Cassidy will ever take that away. You're a big man now, Dilly. You go tipping your cap back to Cassidy if it pleases you. But you won't do it with my blessing.
Then maybe I don't need your blessing. Mr. Cassidy's offered me a ride in the last race on the Strand tomorrow. On one condition.
Let me guess.
It's just a feckin' dance, Johnny.
It was, until Cassidy and his blue shirt buddies colonized it.
Please, Johnny. You know what them horses mean to me.
Better than most, kid. I'd give you my heart if it was any good to you. So no can do on this one, then.
Very well, so.
That's what I'll tell them. I'll show you to your room, Stefan.
I'm sorry, Doc. Dilly should never have said those things.
I get the impression it was a speech he's been storing up for some time. Maybe with good reason. I don't understand if you felt the same way, Grace.
I don't.
You've been very loyal to Patrick. Maybe more than he deserves.
Like I said, he was my husband.
You would be entitled to think that being your husband lost him the right to put a flag before his family.
I'm entitled to think nothing. He left us to fight for something he believed in.
Patrick believed in nothing more than adventure. You know that as well as I do, and you shouldn't be afraid to say it.
It's not my place to judge him.
But I do. All the time. He was my son, and I loved him. But he was a damn fool. A fool to leave you and Dinny, and an even bigger fool to come back here that night.
You know why he came back.
Yes. And I know. Came back the price he paid for his troubled conscience. Same price we've been paying every hour of every day since. I know why you don't call to see Francis. Same reason she and I can barely abide to be in the same room together. We see her grief in each other. But if that should console us, it never does. Francis and I don't even have each other.
I have my son, Doc. I don't want to lose him too.
You okay, Grace?
Yeah, I better go.
Maybe we'll see you later.
I don't think so.
Thanks for your help today. I couldn't have done it without you.
Take it off my slate.
You don't owe me nothing, Grace. You know all along, didn't you?
You what?
About Denny, riding out at Cassidy's place. He passed me by that one day.
You've been busy.
I guess. I still should have spotted it, though.
And if you had,
I don't know. Maybe I could have put him off.
I doubt it. Denny's as stubborn as his father was when he wants to be.
Must break your heart.
Well, the word, Johnny. Some things even the doc is not sure for. I'd be more worried about Grace if I were you.
I worry about Grace anyway. Every day God sends it, truth be told. No offense, a terrible thing happened to your son. It's been 12 years now. And as you know better than most, it's a short song to the grave. I just wish you could leave it all go as
Easier said than done.
I know. Don't stop me wishing. She's a young woman, Doc. Wouldn't it be a nice thing if she found someone to share the trip?
You got anybody in mind?
No one in particular?
Sure about that?
All right. All right. I can't say that thought never crossed my mind. She's a beautiful woman. They messed up once in that department already. You know how it is.
Maybe Grace is the only one that has stopped these letting go.
Maybe. But that's another day's work.
Cassidy's going to be sore about the dance, Johnny.
I've been thinking about that.
I told you before, I don't take it when you start.
No, but seriously, something's been bothering me all day.
What's that?
Before Cassidy and his blue shirt Boy Scouts took it over, there's been a cemetery Sunday dance in the parish hall ever since time began, right?
Slight exaggeration. But I get your drift.
Can't say I ever tripped the lake fantastic up there myself. That's not the point. The point is people were dancing. All day long I've been passing the ashes of that hall. Each time I pass it, Doc, it strikes me that it's a shame that between the green flag and the blue shirt that the people in this village won't have a place to swing a leg tomorrow night.
You haven't second thoughts?
About Cassidy? Not in your life.
So,
As me and Grace are looking to last the Walter off the beach today, I'm saying to myself, Johnny, you gotta do something about that. And what?
And what are you going to do about it?
I haven't figured that one out yet. I'm still working. But let's just say, when it comes to Cassidy, it's next move to the end. Long time, how are you?
In an awful feckin' hurry, so I am.
So we take it you got the nod then?
No thanks to you. 10 minutes to the off and didn't place to change, don't understand.
I would have thought Mr. Cassidy would have supplied a caravan.
Oh, very feckin' funny. The jockeys is bearing all kind of pink rock and every young one in the village skittered down with them from the kid above. Well, it's not me that'll skitter at. I was wondering could I get ready inside.
Since when did you have to ask?
I wouldn't. Only I'm stuck.
Hey, Dinny. I know you got a lot on your mind right now, but I could really do with a hand when you're done down there.
What?
With this. Tonight at Kinnaird, live open air jazz dance music direct from Manhattan. I'm sorry I couldn't reach on the blue shirt, boss. I know you're sore with me about that. I never stood in the way of a good party, so I decided to have my own.
Mr. Cassidy seen the German lad parading the strand with the sandwich board. Didn't go down too well, I can tell you.
Well, that's just too bad, because unless there's something I'm missing, this is still a free country. You better get your skates on. As soon as you get back, I'm going to tell you all about the very special job I got for you this evening.
I have to give a hand clear up after the races.
No, you don't. There's a whole squadron of blue shirts can do that.
The blue shirts are off to the rally abroad in Lungard. Meet McCain's cross there at 6 o'clock. Oh, fair. I wasn't supposed to tell you that.
A military secret, isn't it? The hell with the blue shirts, Denny. In a couple of hours' time, we're going to have ourselves a party here that this village will never forget. And you are going to be the star of the show.
I have to go, Johnny. The feckin' race will be over.
Stefan, the good and faithful servant. So how did it go down there? Should I put the house full sign up yet?
Not just yet, but I think I gave the message.
We can ask no more. And speaking of asking, I hope you don't mind, but I took the liberty of borrowing the dynamo from your truck while you were away. Grace will be here with the battery any minute now, and she'll stick them back in the morning.
As by you have to come back yet.
Not yet. I was talking to Doc at his house. He said your little girl and Francis have really hit it off.
I thought they would be back by now.
They won't be long.
I was stopped by a policeman on the beach, Johnny.
Sergeant Ignatius Callanan, no doubt. Makes St. Francis of Assisi look like a mafia don.
The sergeant asked to see my travel papers. I have an appointment at the police station in the morning.
That's no problem. I'll get my cleaning crew started on Walter's bones and I'll go with you to the station.
I don't have any papers, Johnny. I applied to the Irish legation more than 5 months ago, but it seems your minister there is less than sympathetic to the plight of Jews. My application was turned down 2 weeks ago.
So how did you get in here?
I borrowed some money from my father and bribed the ship's captain in Hamburg. The captain took a note to pay someone else when we got to Cork.
Money talks in any language. I'll talk to the sergeant in the morning. He owes me at least as many favours as the Boy Scout who put him up to this.
You mean Mr. Cassidy?
For one and only. You'll buy you a day or two. It's a short-term solution. You do know that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Well, will you look at this? Gordon Richards, eat your heart. You recognize this kid, Stefan?
Hello, Denny.
How are you? Hey, Denny. Good luck down there. Thanks, Johnny. You'll knock him dead, kid. You will too, you know. Right, we got a lot of work to do. Here you go, Stefan. You stick these up on the wall and Johnny here will get back to making magic. Everything going according to plan, we'll have power within the hour.
Are you sure it's going to work?
Am I sure? Of course I'm not sure. September 4th, 1882, Stefan. Thomas Alva Edison synchronizes watches with the chief engineer of the world's first commercial power station, Pearl Street, Lower Manhattan. He then accompanies his fellow directors of the Edison Electrical Illuminating Company on a short walk to the Wall Street office of their major investor, Mr. J. Pierpont Morgan. At 3 p.m. exactly, the chief engineer back in Pearl Street closes the circuit breaker and Mr. Edison turns on the light switch in Wall Street. A soft, steady glow fills the room and the age of electricity is on the way. Now, that may have been a short walk, Stefan, but it must have been one hell of a long journey. You think he was sure that day?
I suppose not. You sound like quite the fan.
Wouldn't you be? I'm proud to say I met the great man too.
Yes?
Well, not exactly met. We were under the same roof and at the same time too. I gave 32 years of my life in New York. 23 of those at Edison's waterside generating station. I was just a furnace man, of course, right at the bottom of the chain. But I gotta tell you, Stefan, I love that job. Mr. Edison gave a speech on the opening day. I was a long way down the floor, and to tell the truth, I can't be sure he could even see me, but I was hanging on his every word. If I find 10,000 ways that something hasn't worked, I haven't failed, he said. I'm not discouraged, because every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward. I wasn't a know it at the time, but I can't begin to tell you how much those words came to mean to me. Anyway, I'm talking too much.
I like listening to you, Johnny.
You do? It gets just a little quiet around here, you know. I don't care to admit it to too many, but if you take the Doc and Grace and Dinny out of the equation, there's not a lot to sing about or to sing to around here.
Maybe it'll be different when Dreamland opens.
Maybe it will be. Like I said, first thing tomorrow we're back in business with Walter. But hey, while we're trading compliments, I like listening to you on that clarinet the other night.
I don't think the music was to the taste of your guests.
That bunch of freeloaders, what the hell would they know? To tell the truth, I ain't no aficionado myself. To watch you get lost in that stuff, sure was a sight to behold.
It's what I do. It hurts now, of course. Makes me remember what I must learn to forget. But when I play the notes these days, I like to indulge the illusion that Hitler didn't manage to steal everything. And of course he did.
You must have left a lot of people behind.
Whatever you gather is a course of your life. I learn not to look back now, Johnny. I after will too. In time, there will be nothing to remember anyway, except for the dead.
You really believe that?
Yes, I do. So what is next?
Well, you could stick those benches out if you got a mind to. I picked them up at my dad's old place early. They were a little worse for wear, but I like the connection.
Is your father still alive?
I hope not, when I count these 10 years buried above in the cemetery. They say the fire went out of him as soon as he shut the doors on that old dance hall. I came home a few years after to take care of Mom. She died 4 years ago. It was just me now.
Good-looking man like you. I'm surprised there hasn't been a Mrs. Canaan.
Good-looking guy like me? You betcha there was. I was hitched all right. First day of the new century, as it happens. Me and Rose Jensen figured there was no better way to mark it. 2 years later, along came our little girl Ava. Rose and Ava and me, happy as the day is long. But nothing lasts forever, does it?
What happened?
Johnny fell by the wayside is what happened. But I won't bother you with all that. All that matters is the consequences.
How do you mean consequences?
February 2nd, 1918 is what I mean. I knock off work, stroll up Prospect Avenue in the evening sun, and I turn the key in our door. And nobody's home. Nobody's home because for quite some time now, certain matters have arisen. I go back outside and I ask my neighbour, Mr. Koshak, if he seen my wife and kid today. Sure I see him, he said. They left in a cab a few hours back, Johnny. They was carrying suitcases. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by consequences.
Where did they go?
It's a question I've been asking myself for quite some time now. America's like that, I guess. It's a place you can just disappear in. They did.
Can't begin to imagine what that must feel like.
No. The doc told me you lost your wife too.
My wife is dead. It's hardly the same thing. And I still have my daughter.
Touche, Mr. Henson.
Did you ever hear from them?
Only in my dreams. What you said earlier about learning to forget. I tried that and it damn near killed me. These days I work really hard on remembering. Remembering Rose Jensen and all, what we had before I turned that key. It's not paradise, this war, Stefan, but it's got its moments. They were mine. Gracie, how are you doing?
I'm doing what the master orders, as usual.
And you'll go straight to heaven.
More that can be said for you. One stolen battery, as per instructions. He told me he asked permission, but I know right well he didn't.
I'm happy to be of assistance.
Of course he is, and so will you be. Now before it's too late, you better get your ass down to the beach. Your beloved son Dennis is about to win the last race.
He didn't come home last night.
No?
Found him on the beach this morning, hanging on Teddy Riley's coattails. The weight was all in his power to drag him away for the civil word. Told me he gave them out to Cassidy's.
Did he indeed?
Said that for holding the blue shirt dance beyond in the barn tonight and getting it ready they were.
Excellent. Do you think we should tell the shinners?
Whatever's come over him, Johnny, he had fire in his eyes. Slinged back to Cassidy's cronies like I was some kind of black stranger.
A passing fancy is all it is, Grace. I got work for Dinny this evening that'll make the barn dance look like the teddy bear's hip. In the meantime, maybe you should go and see him race.
I'm not going down there.
You sure? Well, if you're hanging around here, you can make yourself useful. Those dynamo leads there up to the battery. I'll be back in a minute.
Yes, boss.
Dr. Conley, I presume. What's left of it?
You still in one piece back there?
I think so. Documents and gowns. Gowns like they're at the top.
In English they are.
We cycled for miles, didn't we, Doc?
All the way down from the mountain. There you go, Johnny. Joe McKenna's faithful steed. The print of his arse still fresh in the sand.
I'm in your debt, Doc Conley.
Well, you can start paying it off by telling me what the hell is going on around here.
This, Doc, is what's going on.
You've been busy.
Well, I told you I wasn't going to be no party pooper, didn't I?
And what? You're going to beat the band in on Joe's bike.
I've got other plans for Joe's bike. And who said anything about a band? At 24 hours notice, not even Johnny Canan does miracles. I don't have a band, but I do have this. A thing of beauty and joy forever. The Berliner gramophone, ladies and gentlemen. Purchased at considerable expense from the Victor Talking Machine Company, 8th Avenue, New York, September 22nd, 1970. Are we impressed? Or are we impressed?
Beautiful, Johnny.
Out of the mouth of babes. A 40th birthday present for the long lamented Rose Jensen, Stefan. 5 months later, she skips the light fantastic out of town, leaving me with a broken heart and a modest collection of jazz records, which, courtesy of the Sayers Roebuck catalogue, I've been building on ever since. You with me so far, Doc?
I'm getting there.
But you're still not sure about Joe's bike, right?
You have me thinking.
I don't like it when you start thinking. Here's how it is, Doc. 10 p.m. tonight, the sun setting on the bay, a cool breeze drifting in off the ocean. Johnny Canan puts a record on the turntable here, and the party begins. Only it doesn't. Not unless you can hear the music. And to hear the music, you need these. Only as the guy who owns them so helpfully pointed out, in order for these to do their job, you need electricity. And electricity is what we are about to make.
Would have wasted
With Joe McKenna's bike, in memoriam to the lonely road.
I think I need a drink.
Get one for the house. We got work to do. I need you here, Grace. I go. Sorry, Stefan, but it's all hands on deck. Give me a hand with this, will you?
Beata, go help us out with the drinks.
Try some of those sharp lemons. Third jar, middle shells. They're ugly, gorgeous.
Third jar, middle shelf.
Okay, here we go, Grace. We have got mechanical power and electrical potential. The bike and the dynamo. In order to run the dynamo with the bike, we got to connect the pulley on the dynamo to the moving back wheel of the bike. But in order to do that, we got to raise the back wheel. So what comes up must come down.
I'm not with you.
Was the pity. The carrier. I need you to unbolt it here, turn it upside down, and clamp it to this contraption here. One raised wheel at your service. go fetch some records. Soon as you're done here, we'll hook the bike up to the dynamo and do a rehearsal. I gotta go to Joe's place to pay him my respects, so I want to make sure everything's ready before I go.
I hope you get the crowd you're expecting.
I'm not doing this for the good of my health, Grace. The joint will be jumping.
Just like the old days.
Something like that.
Is that why you're doing all this?
Does there have to be a reason? It's like water. It's like dreaming. You go to bed with an idea and you wake up with a well.
Only it's far from jazz we were reared in these parts.
Maybe so. But as Thomas Edison said when he invented the light bulb, there's a first time for everything.
You'd be going a long way beyond in Berlin before you tap eyes on a man captain like that fella.
Johnny is one of a kind.
He surely is. I suppose it's jazz dancing to make the band over there.
Yes.
Do you go for it yourself?
No, I'm afraid I led a very boring life.
A wonder himself hasn't yet lined up to play the clarinet later.
I suspect your salvage crew may have heard enough last night.
What would that chair go and chucks no big music? Johnny said you gave a great account of yourself last night.
It was fun.
I suppose you haven't had much of that lately.
Not a lot, no. No, you from what I can gather.
I get by.
No more than that?
It's enough.
Is Seafield your home place?
For me sins. There's worse, I suppose. Had a mind to leave after my husband died, but sure, where would I be going? Dublin, you're headed for, the doc said.
Yes. Do you know it?
How would I know it? The city of Waterford now, as far as my wings ever took me. And settled enough there too. I've no reason ever to be travelling far.
Maybe you'll come visit Beata and me in Dublin.
I doubt it. She's a credit to you, the same girl.
I'm sorry?
I mean, you did well by her. Doc told me you lost your wife when Beata was little. It can't have been easy bringing her up on your own.
You should know. My parents live in Berlin. They took care of Beata while I was working.
Are they still there?
For now. I begged them to come with me. I think my mother wanted to. But my father said he would not be run out of his country by a failed Austrian postcard painter. So there they are. And here we are.
You must be fierce worried for them.
It was their choice, and I admire them for it.
At least,
But I feel sure they will regret it.
at least Beata will be safe.
For now, Mr. Cassidy and his kind permit.
We're not all like him. I'd like you to know that.
I do know it, Grace. You've been very kind to us, Grace.
Wait till you get the bill for your truck.
I wasn't talking about the truck.
Be kind to you.
How are we doing, Grace?
Over to you, Mr. Evans.
Excellent. We're almost there.
Come and get him, folks.
Not yet, Doc. This is a delicate procedure. Sorry.
Well, any luck?
I found them.
And
You were right.
I knew you'd like them.
Well, blow me down with a duster. Snug as a bug in a rug, Stefan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The moment of truth approaches. Recorded on the Brunswick label, February 1931. Composed by Fabian Andre and Wilbur Schwartz. With lyrics by Gus Kahn. Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra with Dream a Little Dream on Me. Oh, how did it go down there?
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
What happened?
Billy Butley's bulldog.
How's the horse race?
Oh, very fucking funny. A heavy country mile it was. Nothing but sand between me and the winning postman. Strawberry lass not even breaking sweat in the silver cup with the shiny ribbons in me eyeline when Roxy Beckham Butler breaks loose of the crowd and straight up poor Strawberry like a hound from the leash at the course of the loving Clan Medal. Spooked the fucking horse, didn't he? The way he broke through open post into the sea winner. Roxy Butler following on and sniping at Strawberry's fetlocks till the horse booked and landed me head fucking first into the water.
Do you think maybe it was sabotaging?
What do you mean sabotage?
That dog always had the look of a shitter.
What are you laying from me? Are you okay, Dennis?
How many times do I have to tell you? My name's Dinny. And no, I'm not okay. I'm not affecting disgrace, so I am. There's 500 people on that strand below, man. And if I live to be 500, there'll be cattle still.
That's not true, Diddy. It'll be somebody else tomorrow.
Would you like a sherbet lemon?
No, I would not make a sherbet lemon! For he'd probably choke on it.
Go in and get that gear off you before you get your death of cold. A hot drink and an early bed is a cure for you.
If you give a hand to clear up.
You do no such a thing. You're really wet, Diddy.
He'll be fine, Grace. In this weather, he'll dry out in no time. Besides, I got a job for him that's going to warm him up real fast. Just in time for the dress rehearsal. In 500 years, it's not Roxy Butler and Stradbally Les they'll be talking about. It's the night Dinny Conley brought electricity to Seafield.
What are you shouting on about now?
Your instrument awaits, maestro. She's all powered up and ready to go. All you gotta do is pedal for dear life. Take a Roxy Butler on your tail and you'll be singing.
Is it not bad enough I am? First it's me mother shunting the feckin' skeleton of a rotten whale through the main street in her clapped-out tractor. The next thing I'm the laughing stock at the cemetery Sunday races, and now you want me to join the feckin' circus altogether.
I know you're sore about what happened down there, but this is different, Dinny. Give it a try and you'll see.
I've seen all I want to see. If it's a dance I'm on tonight, it won't be here.
Listen.
I will not listen, for I think it's too much time here listening to you. You now Yankee trying to shake topples with it.
Hold your tongue.
I will so! Only this first. If you think I'm giving the summer light in a bag of stinking bones in your fucking wild pack, you've another thing coming. Dreamland me ours. This is in Dreamland you're living Johnny Canaan. You're not only twins of a fool, but you'll not make one of me yet. I'm sorry the day I ever clapped eyes on you.
Dinny didn't mean that, Johnny.
Sure.
He loves the ground you stand on, doesn't he, Doc?
Johnny knows that.
He's upset about the race and all. He'll be back to himself tomorrow, and I have him straight down here to apologise.
There'll be no need for that, Chris. So, where were we?
Still going ahead with it then, Johnny?
Yeah, I've got no choice, Doc. We got Joe's wake at 8 o'clock, and I gotta make sure everything's in order here first.
Tonight, honey.
Yeah, I'm sure. Slight technical hitch here, folks. Long service will resume short. Every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward. What are we going to do now, Chris?
Go home to her teeth with any sense. But I was missing when they were giving that out. I'll have a look in the garage below.
Not yet, Chris. Listen, we gotta dance.
Now?
Right now, in this place, on this beautiful day. What else can a body do?
Never lost the craze. Sorry to intrude on your little party. Just wondering how young Dinny was doing.
How he's doing, or how he isn't doing, is no concern of yours.
He was wearing light colours. Shame how it turned out. But he ran a great race. Pity you weren't there to see him.
You know why she wasn't there.
So, how was it going, Johnny?
I'm getting by.
You've been busy since we seen you last.
The devil makes work, as they say.
Indeed he does. We've been busy ourselves too, haven't we, Teddy?
This is not the word for it, Mr. Cassidy.
Put to the pin of a colliery one. When you couldn't see fit to facilitate. But you have to plough on, don't you? And that's what we did do. Teddy and his crew gave the night getting the bar ready at the home place. Young Teddy was with them, I believe.
So I hear. I'm sure General O'Duffy will feel right at home in a barn.
I'm sure he will too. Like I said, we weren't going to be bested by anyone. Were we, Teddy?
Not be the shinners, Mr. Cassidy.
Nor by anyone else either. I'm an honest man, Johnny. So I won't pretend I wasn't a small bit miffed when I saw your friend here traipsing the strand by the sandwich board a while back. If a fella didn't know better, he could be forgiven for thinking us, putting it up to us, you are.
But I'm sure you do know better.
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe Teddy need a few more besides could do with a small bit of reassurance on that score.
You're a big boy now, James. I'm sure you can handle a little competition.
I'd hardly describe this as competition.
Well, then you've nothing to worry about, do you? Now, if you'll excuse us.
I'm not sure what you and your pals think you're up to. But something you need to know. I'm not having my nose rubbed in the dirt by anyone. Least of all by some yank who doesn't know their station.
I'm under no illusions about my station. But even a nobody like me is entitled to play music in his own front yard. And that's exactly what I'm planning to do.
No, Yank. Not tonight, you're not. General Duffy's cavalcade will be driving right by here on his way to my father's home place tonight. Like I told you yesterday, there's a lot at stake when he gets there. And I'm fucked if the General's going to be distracted by you, your monkey music, or that Jew boy there on the way.
Then maybe the General ought to take a detour.
That's not going to happen, Yank.
Now let's hope he enjoys the view. Now, you take yourself and your sidekick here and get the hell off my property.
Property? Do you hear him, Teddy? A hole in the wall I saw you never had the savvy to make a go of, you mean? You're out of your league, Yank. But then you always were. Didn't do much monkey dancing back in the States, did you? From what I hear is Mrs. Canaan and all the dancing over there.
Shut your filthy mouth, Cassidy.
Only saying what everyone knows, Doctor. Fine looking filly too, by all accounts. You must have been looking after her, Yank. You don't look after them. They'll find somebody who will. And nobody knows it better than you. Must have been a tough blow to lose her like that. And the young one with her.
No monkey music playing that night, I'd say.
No, there wasn't.
You're always a loser, Yank. If you've any trouble remembering that tonight, I won't be long reminding you.
I don't need reminding of what I lost. Least of all from someone like you. But something I do need you to know. You got it wrong about my wife. Rose Jensen was an honourable woman. She couldn't have been unfaithful to me if our kid's life depended on it.
That's not what we heard.
What you heard is lies. My wife was a good woman. Wherever she is, the least I owe her is death. Even to someone like you.
Ah, Diddy, the man of the moment.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cassidy.
No need for apologies. I was just telling your mother here aside your altercation with Roxy Butler, you gave that horse a great ride. A talent like yours deserves encouragement.
Thanks, Mr. Cassidy.
There might be a bit of work going on in the stables for the summer. I know you've been riding out the last few weeks, but I'm talking about paid work.
It's good of you to think of me, Mr. Cassidy.
You'll need your mother's permission, of course.
Come on, Diddy.
I think you should think about it, Grace.
I don't need to think about it.
I think you should, for your son's sake.
My son was 4 years old the last time he saw his father. Late in the day, you regard for his welfare.
That's an old song now.
It's the only one I know where you're concerned.
Yeah? Will you keep singing if that pleases you? I've left that all behind me. I'm sure your son has too.
My son is easy led. I can't stop him if he's fool enough to take the scraps from your table. But when it comes down to it, he'll remember that you have his father's blood on your hands.
My hands are clean. The law says as much at the time.
Who's Lord Cassidy?
The law of the land, invested in this state by the will of the people, trampled on by your son and his Republican comrades. And speaking of whom, Grace, it might be convenient to ignore it, but you know as well as I do, it was his own lot did away with Patrick Connolly.
And you know who put them up to it.
Your husband's disappearance was fully investigated. No charges were ever laid against me or anyone else.
No. Or ever will be. Unlike my poor the son. You're a real clever boy, Cassidy. I hope you can sleep well in your bed.
I sleep just fine, Doctor.
And your father?
You'd have to ask him that, wouldn't you?
No need to. He know the price my son paid for saving his life. I'd never sleep again if I had that on my conscience.
What do you want? His gratitude? You've spent so long soaked in alcohol, you've forgotten something. There was civil war. Fool that he was, your son tried to fight on both sides of the street. You can't do that. You have to choose. My father did, and so did I. We owe your son nothing.
And we need nothing from the like of you. But there's small comfort in one thing. If there's a God in heaven, you'll answer yet for what you did.
Maybe. But I won't be judged by you in the meantime. And speaking of judgment, Dr. Coney, that law you were asking me about, it's the same law that applies now, even if it's temporarily administered by your son's former bedfellows.
I bet that rankles.
I won't deny it, but unlike your son and his comrades, my party accepts the will of the people. I understand you had a visitor to your surgery yesterday, presented with scorch marks to his hands and face by all accounts. And knowing your pedigree, I'm sure your patient got the best treatment. But the law being the law, you're obliged to give that information to the civic guards.
I won't take lectures on the law from you.
Maybe not. but you'll answer to Sergeant Callahan for it. I know he's a buddy of yours, Johnny, but I made sure he does his duty.
Take one thing and another. The stars are going to have your hands full tomorrow. Won't you, Mr. Cassidy?
I'm sure he will, Teddy. Between chasing our arsons and ridding our native to feed the Bonmont of vermin.
You've said enough, Mr. Cassidy.
Have I now? And who the fuck are you to be telling me that, Jew boy?
My name is Stefan Henschel. I've met bullies like you on every street corner of Berlin for the past 18 months. Compared to them, you don't frighten me at all. And I won't be threatened by you. I think you should leave now.
The only ones that leaving any time soon is you and your sprog hair. And where you be going is back to that Jew hole you came from. I'm sure Mr. Hitler will give you the welcome you deserve when you get there.
We'll see about that.
The law will see about it. Come on, Teddy.
I'll go down in the hand here, Mr. Cassidy.
You're all right, Dinny. You can forget about that for now. There's man's work to be done tonight, if you're up for it.
Is it the rallying me? But Teddy said...
Never mind what Teddy said. The truck will be leaving shortly. We'll keep you a seat if you want to go.
Please, Dinny.
Dinny isn't going anywhere. Got the me guys all McKenna's to pay our respects. I need you to look after the bar.
You expecting a crowd, Yank?
It's just for an hour day.
I'm asking you not to go.
I don't have a shirt, Mr. Cassidy.
I'm sure we can do something about that.
Dinny!
Forgive me. My sentimental journey.
You'd be entitled to that. Whatever it was, it sounded lovely.
Max Brooks called me dry. Inspired by a prayer recited during the evening service of Yom Kippur.
I'll take your word for that. You must miss it very much.
On the contrary, I'm afraid I've seen very little of the synagogue.
The music, I mean.
It was another life. We move on, don't we?
Some of us. Please, don't stop on my account.
I was just passing time. Johnny and Doc have gone down to the McKenna house. They should be back soon.
Is Beata okay?
She's inside, working her way through the sweet jars. Has Denny come back yet?
No. I just called by to replace that fuse.
Johnny seems determined to go ahead with the dance.
If only to spite Cassidy.
Do you think he should?
Matter of damn when anybody thinks when Johnny gets a notion.
I admire him for that. So I suspect there will be plenty of room on the dance floor.
That won't bother Johnny. He wouldn't be used to crowds.
Why does nobody drink here?
I don't know. Because he's different, I suppose. And pays the price for that. You must know what that means.
Yes.
I'll go with second night to the Atta.
Are you not staying for the dance?
No,
Was I that bad?
I didn't say that.
My wife would say that I had many talents, but that dancing was not one of them.
Tell me about her.
What do you want to know?
The most important thing. You can start with that.
That I loved her and she loved me. That we were foolish enough to think that that would protect us from anything.
What was her name?
Charlotte. Charlotte Stein.
Say it again.
What?
Her name. Say it again.
Why?
I like how you say it, that's all.
Charlotte Stein.
I know how much you loved her, the way you say her name. Was she a musician like yourself?
Oh, she was a singer with the state opera in Berlin. That's where we met.
Love at first sight, I suppose.
Isn't it always?
What happened to her?
She contracted tuberculosis when she was 30. 8 months later, she was dead.
I'm very sorry.
And your husband?
What about him?
It's the most important thing.
You wouldn't want to hear that.
If you don't want to tell me.
I've never told anyone. I've lied for 12 years and it cost me nothing to do it. I wanted Dilly to be proud of his father. I wanted my son to have something good to remember. For all the difference it's made, I might as well have told the truth. He betrayed us. That was the most important thing. He was a good man. And he loved the ground we stood on. But he betrayed Dilly and me to save another man's life.
Cassidy's father. I remember reading about your civil war in the German papers. It must have been a terrible time.
Fools killing friends for a flag.
Was your husband a friend of the Cassidys? Before the war, I mean.
He worked for James's father. Patrick and James never saw eye to eye. But the father, Frank Cassidy, took a shine to him. Until Patrick put on his cap one morning and ran off to fight with the Republicans against the new Free State government. The rest of the day followed on.
Do you want to tell me what happened to him?
Will it change anything if I do?
No, not a thing. I'm sorry. I should not have asked.
You did ask. The first Christmas of the war, there was a dance in Canaan's Hall. I shouldn't have gone out that night, but Patrick was 6 months on the run by then, and I was tired of sitting at home. So I did go. And when James Cassidy asked me to dance, I did dance. I didn't care. It was just a dance. It was just a war, and one day to be over and we'd all have to walk the same street again. Patrick came in a short time later. The music kept playing. The crowd kept dancing. But sure as God, when I saw him, I knew there was trouble to come. Johnny's father was on the door. Patrick spoke to him for a bit. And then I saw Mr. Canal go down the hall to where James and his friends were. Patrick crossed the floor and asked me to dance. As if he'd never been away. As if it was a Stevens night the same as any other. Listen up, he said. I don't have long. And he told me how his comrades were holed up in the wood at the back of the mountain. How he'd stolen away from the camp to warn James they'd be down within the hour. How they were going to shoot his father, Frank Cassidy, dead in the yard outside the hall. It's war, he said. But I owe him that. Over his shoulder, I could see James speaking to Teddy Riley. Riley and a few more following on behind him. forever on your skin. James rushing out at a fierce gallop, away to warn the father, I suppose. Teddy and the others strolling into that yard as if they weren't going very far at all. You're a dead man now, if you're a noble deed, I said. What will I tell our son you died for? I said he was sorry. That he had the passage money to America. And if he made it, he'd send for Dinny and me to follow him. You'll never see America, I said. And then he kissed me, across the hall to the door, and into the yard. A few months after the war ended, I got a letter in the post. It was unsigned, but whoever wrote it said he'd been one of Patrick's IRA comrades in the wood that night. He said when they got to Canals, the dance abandoned, the hall deserted. They found Patrick beaten to a pulp in the yard. Tied to a post he was, a bloody handkerchief stuffed in his mouth, a sheet of cardboard pinned to his chest, the word traitor written bold across it for all to see. He was dragged away, interrogated, court-martialed, and then shot. The letter never said what became of his body. It would have been something to have had that much. My husband wore a shirt that didn't fit him, Stefan. And tonight, this poor fool of another is wearing the same. I don't know what to do about that.
Denny will be found, Chris.
He's a child in man's boots. If there's trouble at that rally tonight,
I'm sure he'll be okay.
I hope so. And I hope you will be too. I hope you get what you're looking for in this God-forsaken country.
Maybe I'll come back and tell you how we get on.
No, you won't. But that's okay.
I might surprise you.
You're a good man. And it was good to meet you. That's enough.
Am I allowed to return the compliment?
I'm not that easy with compliments.
Then I won't tell you how very much I admire you. And I won't tell you how beautiful you look in this light. Because that when Beata and I leave tomorrow, I will take a little of you with me.
You'd better not.
Is it better that I don't tell you that either?
No. You can tell me. And seeing as you're leaving, there's something I want you to know too. It hurts when I look at you. I remember something. Before that war. Before that night. I remember something I'm afraid to put a name on. But it was good. It was real good. I want you to know I'm grateful for that.
You heard frightened, didn't he, Connie? Who's inside?
Nobody. My father went for a walk on the beach with Grace. Johnny and your grandfather are going to the dead man's house.
No shooting stars.
Doc told me about that. We were out there today to collect his bicycle for Johnny.
Is that where it came from?
Yes. So Doc and I had a lovely day.
I'm delighted for you.
I met Frances, your grandmother. We had lunch with her, and afterwards she showed me a photograph of your father. You look very like him.
I can't help that now, can I?
No. Though now I see you in that uniform, I think he was more handsome.
What's wrong with my uniform?
It doesn't fit. You looked much prettier as a jockey.
Whole feckin' hole.
Only joking. We called by Walter's Bell Park on the way back.
That must have been a treat.
Someday it will be.
You think so?
Are you really not going to work there for Johnny?
Heard what I said.
It wasn't his fault he lost the race.
It's got nothing to do with the race. And it's got nothing to do with you either. So there's an end to it now.
Sorry. What happened to your head?
Flake or hurley from a shinner's what happened to my head. Caught me on the nap when my back was turned. The fecker was well rewarded for it, being our lads.
What's a shinner?
Republicans. The other crowd. Beyond the blue shirt rally in Dungarvan was.
With Mr. Cassidy.
And 400 more besides. It was a mighty night altogether. The shinners were out in force, of course, jeering and heckling the big band the way the general wouldn't be heard to sing. Open Hurley was when we came up. Our boys saw that.
Who's the general?
General Duffy, the boss man in blue shirts and a powerful man with a speech flying altogether. Mr. Cassidy's going to introduce me to him later at the dance down at the bar. I can hardly fucking wait.
You won't be at this one then?
Will not.
I thought you had changed your mind.
Did you now?
Yes. I was hoping that was why you'd come back.
Well, never you mind why I came back. Fit for you to stay in your room tonight. Your father's will if he's any sense.
Is there going to be trouble?
Mr. Cassidy's not a man to be trusted, nor the general either, by all accounts.
Does the general hate Jews also?
How would I know? I suppose you won't be inviting us up for your breakfast anyway.
No. Do you?
Do I what?
Hate Jews.
Ah, of course not. Little did you ever capitalize him before your father walked in here yesterday? How could I hate what I never saw?
That doesn't stop Mr. Cassidy.
Yeah. Well, maybe Mr. Cassidy knows more than I do. He says everywhere he's going he's caused trouble. Says he's taken up the whole fucking world if he's relate, but that bucko Hitler be man put manners on you.
And what do you say, Denny?
I've told you, I've nothing again. Only warn you, keep your heads down tonight and get the hell out of here first thing in the morning. So, go inside. Let you while going's good.
Why did you come back?
No fucking why! Killing time's all for the dance. Will you quit asking questions and just get out of here?
After the Jews were dismissed from my father's orchestra, we had to leave our apartment and move in with my grandparents. My grandfather was a bookseller and we lived over in the shop. One night last summer, the brown shirts and the students broke down the front door and began to remove all the books. They took every book in the shop, dumped them in the street outside, and set them on fire. Irish. My father said that in the oven pots that night they burnt more than 20,000 books, and all over the same thing. It was some stupid new law the Nazis had made. All books against the spirit of the fatherland should be destroyed. And so they were. Afterwards, we stood at the broken door of the shop and watched as all that paper, all those stories turned to ash. It was the only time I ever saw my father cry. I hope you won't do what I think you've come back here to do, Dinny.
And what would that be, Jew girl?
Nothing.
You've been distracted, Denny.
Small talking is all we were, Mr. Cassidy.
Is that the way? Didn't sound like small talk to me. Sounded to me like Jew girl here was trying to put you off your duty. You're wearing the blue shirt now. You've done a good night's work, and a badge of honour to prove it. But the night is young, and we're small bit strapped for time.
Go inside now, like I told you.
Take it easy, Jew girl. We've no books to burn here. But Dinny will show you something to remind you of what you're going back to.
Can't we just leave it be, Mr. Cassidy? I mean, what is it more than a bit of music?
It's got nothing to do with music, boy. Now do as you're bid, or take that shirt off your back.
Jesus! We'll be here till fucking Christmas. And the general's packing his bed in Dublin. Here, Dinny. Douse them in this, and we'll be done with it.
That's it. There's nothing left.
No tears now, Dinny. You did no more than your duty. You'll remember this night. The night that shirt made a man of you.
They'd be on it all now, Mr. Cassidy.
Yeah, is it?
It means the happy one, Mr. Cassidy. So that here says anyway.
Is that so? You getting kind of patty, Dinny?
We are not.
Small blame if you were. If I were 20 years younger, and she wasn't a little Jew girl, might take a shine to her myself. What do you think, Teddy?
Sure not. You gave me all right.
A happy one, you say? She doesn't look too happy to me, Dinny. Maybe you should give her something to put a smile on her face.
Never go, Mr. Cassidy.
I will, as soon as you give the little Jew girl here a kiss.
No, I won't. Leave her be.
Just a kiss, Dinny.
I said no, Mr. Cassidy.
Is it you don't know how? Is it how Teddy here's going to have to show you?
No, please, let me go.
When I'm ready, Jew girl. But first, Teddy here's going to give you something to make you and your whoremaster father rue the day he ever set foot in my country.
Don't, Mr. Cassidy, please.
Kiss the bitch so!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dad.
You could do better.
No! I won't. That's an end to it now.
Then get out of the way and let the proper man at it. Do it, Teddy! Do it, Teddy!
after that.
No, please. They've taken enough. Don't give them any more. Please.
Put it down, Dinny. The law will give these tramps their answer.
Like he did before. Is that the way, Doc?
We can't fix what went before.
The doc is right, Denny.
But I thought it was more than just the horses. I remembered everything. I betrayed nobody, and I thought I could make something better.
Maybe you have, Dinny. Your father tried to do that too. Paid a terrible price. He wouldn't want you to do the same. Give it to me now, and let your father rest in peace. Good man.
You showing your true colours, boy. Load men's out, I suppose.
They did just no harm, Mr. Cassidy. Haas and true was all they were. There's no harm in you. And Johnny? Johnny did you no harm either, Mr. Cassidy.
Johnny is a nobody. But you've made your choice. And you're well matched. The lot is. He's all yours, Grace.
I know what he is. My son does too. I'll settle for that.
Come on, Teddy. We've a dance to go to. It'll be a long summer yet, Johnny. I promise you that.
Alison, Lord, no shots.
I'm fine.
The heads of Dick Nick, here, let some do food.
In English, Papa. I'm okay.
How about you, Stefan? Maybe you should let the doc give you the once over.
And fine. Thank you, Denny.
I'm sorry, Johnny.
It's alright, kid. I never had much luck with this stuff anyway. Maybe I should have left them all in Brook. Maybe that's where they belong.
Who knows? I could do with a drink, Johnny.
Sure.
Go out to the hall first thing in the morning.
What for, kid?
Give a hand to clean the bones. After that, we'll clear out the hall, take Walter indoors, and come back together again.
We'll see.
No, I will, but if that job is still going, in Walter's Whale Park, in Dreamland,
Dreamland. We'll see, Denny.
Wait.
Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. You'll hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me. While I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me.